Once upon a time, in a busy city full of tall buildings, fast-moving cars, and thousands of people chasing their dreams, there lived a poor girl named Alina. She was young, hard-working, and determined, but life had not been easy for her. She lost her parents when she was very young, and since then she had learned to survive on her own. To make ends meet, she opened a small food truck in the corner of the city. Her food was simple, but full of freshly made sandwiches, hot tea, and bowls of spicy noodles. People loved her cooking, but despite her efforts, money was never enough. Every day, Alina would wake up before sunrise, push her little food truck into place, and start preparing meals. She worked tirelessly, wearing the same old apron, her hands rough from washing dishes and cooking for hours. Her dream was small, but sincere. She wanted to earn enough to rent a small apartment, save a little money for the future, and live a life with dignity. The city, however, was full of people who looked down on her. Many of her customers treated her as if she was invisible. Rich businessmen would come, order food, and never even look her in the eye. Students and office workers would eat quickly and rush away. But Alina never complained. She believed in kindness and service. Every plate she served carried not just food, but her hope for a better tomorrow. One busy afternoon, her food truck had a long line of customers. She was quickly handing out orders, wiping sweat from her forehead, when a tall man in a perfectly tailored suit joined the line. His watch sparkled, his shoes shined, and everyone around seemed to notice him immediately. Some people whispered that he was one of the city's youngest millionaire CEOs, a man who had built a business empire before turning 30. Women passing by stopped to admire him. Men looked at him with envy. But Alina, busy at her stove, did not notice him. When the man finally reached the front, she looked up briefly and asked in her tired but polite voice, "What would you like to eat?" For a second, the man just stared at her, his eyes softening as if he recognized her. She did not notice. She was too focused on stirring noodles. "I'll have the noodles," he replied calmly. She nodded, served him quickly, and handed over the steaming bowl. "That will be $3, she said. He gave her a crisp bill, more than what the food cost, and told her to keep the change. She barely smiled and thanked him, then moved on to the next customer. For her, he was just another rich man in a line of strangers. But then, as the man took his food and stood aside, he leaned slightly toward her and whispered, "Still remember me?" The words froze her for a moment. She looked up sharply, her heart skipping a beat. His voice sounded familiar, as if it carried a memory she had buried long ago. She studied his face-strong jaw, sharp features, eyes filled with a mixture of confidence and gentleness. Suddenly, the years rolled back in her mind. "Arman," she whispered in disbelief. The man smiled. "Yes, Alina, it's me." Her mind spun. Arman had been her childhood friend, her closest companion in school. They had shared laughter, dreams, and secrets. Back then, he was a poor boy too, wearing worn-out shoes, borrowing books, and often coming to her house to share meals. She had always been kind to him, defending him when others mocked his poverty. But after high school, life had taken them on different paths. She never saw him again till now. Alina's hands trembled slightly. You've changed so much," she said softly. "And you haven't changed at all," Arman replied with warmth. "You're still the girl who cared for people when no one else did." She looked away quickly, embarrassed. Around them, customers were still waiting. She forced herself to focus on work, but her heart beat wildly. Arman did not leave. He stood nearby, watching her. After some time, when the rush slowed down, he came closer. "Can we talk when you're free?" he asked gently. Alina hesitated. She was not used to talking to millionaires. I don't know. I have work. I'll wait," he said firmly. And he did. For hours, he sat on a nearby bench, eating slowly. watching her serve everyone with the same dedication she once had as a child. Finally, when she closed her food truck late in the evening, tired and exhausted, he walked with her. They sat under a streetlight, and memories of the past returned. Armand told her how he had worked his way up, starting with nothing, taking odd jobs, then building his own company with relentless effort. He confessed that he had never forgotten her, the girl who once shared her lunch with him when he had none, the one who always told him he was capable of something great. "You were the reason I believed in myself, Alina," he said softly. "Every time the world pushed me down, I remembered your words, and I promised myself I'd come back one day to find you." Tears filled her eyes. She had never imagined that her small acts of kindness could leave such an impact, but inside she felt conflicted. "Look at you now, Armand. You're a millionaire. And me, I'm just a poor food truck girl." He reached for her hand gently. "Do you think money changes what you mean to me? I've seen everything wealth can buy, but it cannot buy the warmth you gave me when I had nothing. That's why I came back. Because I don't want someone who sees my money. I want someone who sees me." For the first time in years, Alina felt her heart open. She had always built walls around herself, fearing disappointment. But now, sitting beside the man who once shared her struggles, she felt hope again. Over the next few weeks, Armand visited her food truck daily. He would stand in line like everyone else, refusing special treatment, and order the same noodles he had on the first day. Customers noticed, and soon rumors spread that the city's millionaire CEO was in love with a food truck girl. Some laughed, some envied, but Armand paid no attention. Instead, he supported her quietly. He helped her fix her truck when it broke down. He introduced her to suppliers who sold ingredients at lower prices. But most importantly, he gave her the respect she had always longed for. One evening, after helping her close the food truck, Armand looked into her eyes and said, "Alina, I don't want to be just your customer. I want to be a part of your life. Will you let me?" Tears streamed down her cheeks. She nodded, unable to find words. Their love story blossomed, not because of his wealth, but because of their shared past, their values, and the bond that had survived time and distance. Armand eventually helped her open a small restaurant, but Alina continued to work just as hard, never forgetting her roots. She treated her employees with kindness, remembering how it felt to be invisible. People across the city admired their story, the millionaire CEO who fell in love not with riches, but with the heart of a girl who once believed in him. And Alina, who once stood alone in her food truck, now had a partner who cherished her, not for what she had, but for who she was. It was not a fairy tale written in books, but a real story of love, loyalty, and destiny. A reminder that sometimes the people we help in small ways can return to us in the biggest ways. And so, the poor food truck girl who was once ignored found herself loved deeply by the very boy she had once protected. And the millionaire CEO who had everything found that the only thing he truly needed was her.